Can you actually play as a free-to-play player Diablo Immortal? I've been playing this game for the past 9 months and I'm gonna show you exactly what are the answers. The answer is in the middle of like yes and no, depending on what kind of player you are. So just before we start, as a disclaimer, I have this cosmetic skin because I'm a Diablo partner. Also, these orbs, they came because Diablo partners program messed up in one thing, so they compensate all the partners. So I've been completely free to play until now. I don't have any battle pass. So whenever you see players, they say that, oh, I'm free to play, but I buy the battle pass and I buy like this boom of plenty. Well, let me tell you, if you buy this service, it doesn't make you free to play. Well, every time that you do a transaction on the game for money, well, it means that you're not free to play, you are just a low spender, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for those that are very interested into see if they should put their time into a game that in the long term is gonna be, you know, and have some return of investment, I brought here some topics to you guys that we're gonna cover to go and understand if Diablo Immortal it is free to play or not. Well, let's start with the first one, which is the resonance. If you guys notice, like in other games, you can collect heroes, you can level up your heroes. Well, here we don't have heroes, but we have a system that it is called the legendary gems. These are the ones that you're gonna keep leveling up. You're gonna have, if you see here, multiple copies that you can craft them, you can get them. But when you come to speak about like this 5-star, which they are like the massive, like the ones that gonna give you the biggest power up, like in any other game that you have like these 5-star heroes, right? They are gonna be the responsible for you to get like this insane power late game. So right now, after 9 months, I'm 1200 resonance. It is not like that impressive. Also, I don't tend to push a lot on the resonance, and I'm gonna explain why. The good thing and why it is actually a good thing for free to play is that the resonance at the end game actually is not like as important as you building up what we call our secondaries. I'm also gonna explain this a bit more. So when it comes to the resonance, I will say that it is completely a pay-to-win system, but the good news is that for you to do anything in the game, you actually don't need to be as high as in the resonance as you want, especially now that they are reducing the requirements for certain systems. For example, to awakening your gems, which is a system they got implemented in the game. It used to be rank 10 and now is rank 4, so it's super accessible for the free to play to get this extra bonus. If you see, like I have like this purple gear, is because my gear slots and the gems are awakening. So big thumbs up for the free to play. That's really good. Now let's dive into the combat rating. For me, the combat rating system, I personally dislike it because I feel like everything revolves around like this arbitrary like block that they put you, like you can only go and climb on the difficulties if you have this required combat rating, otherwise you're just gonna get one-shotted. So combat rating, it is the system that as you get gear, you're gonna see that every gear was gonna have combat rating here. Also, now they implemented another thing that became super easy for free to plays to actually go and just keep progressing, which is the Seeker's Path. They are making progress into making the life easier for free to play. You're gonna have now the Ancestral Tableau, which pretty much as long as you play the game, you're gonna have these activity points. Then you have the one that it is actually the biggest grind in the game. It is to get all these gear to level 30. I have a really good guide on this, how can you do like very fast, but it is still gonna take like a few months. But now it is easier than ever, and I feel like that's a good thing, because if you just started to play the game right now, you want to get as fast as you can to the end game, and you want to go and try to catch up as max as you can. But as a free to player, can you actually get and beat up a player that has been playing this game for like 2 or 3 years? Well, here's where the things they come like a bit, you know, iffy, because let's talk about here the secondaries. Well, this is what I wanted to speak, and this is like pretty much one of the other systems that are incredibly pay to win, because if you're gonna see here on my character, you're gonna see that I have 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, like, but around like 3,000, 4,000 secondaries. So the secondaries, they should actually be called primary attributes, because they are gonna be the responsible for you to pretty much do very, very well, not only in PvE, but especially in PvP. And these ones are attached to your normal gems. So if you go here into my bags, if I scroll a bit down, these normal gems, you can actually do some daily and weekly grindings. You can also do like things that other people do. They have like multiple accounts and they alts, and it's just like, and then they funnel everything into your main. There's also the strategy. I personally don't do it. I don't recommend you doing, because I just feel like it's a waste of time. But if you don't want to do this, and if you have a lot of money, you can actually go, not only you can boost your resonance, like we show here with the legendary gems, but you can actually go and just go on the action house, and with the platinum, it is the in-game currency that you can try to farm by selling stuff. For example, if you see your icons here with this auction, it means like these items gonna be sellable. So this system, it is another pay-to-win system that as a free-to-play, you can try to boost as max as you can your secondaries, but you know, they just for you to get a rank 10, for example, you will need 20,000 gems. 20,000 gems is gonna take you years and years and years as a free-to-play. So this part here of the game, I will say that is not free-to-play at all. But does it mean that it is not free-to-play friendly? No, because as I said, you can actually keep logging in. You can actually, if you go and you go into a party of 4 members, you can get 12 a day, you can get 128 per week, but then that's just about it. Platinum farming, it is really hard on the game right now. For free to play, it is even harder for us to go and get like a platinum to buy the secondary gems. And now then you have like a question, do I get like resonance or do I get secondaries? So this is always like the dilemma for free to play. Usually at a thumbs up, you want to have like your resonance and your secondaries pretty much like your secondary should be like 1 or 2,000 above your resonance. That's a good margin to be, but at the end of the day, both of these systems are completely pay to win and there's nothing to do. However, does it mean like you're not gonna be able to play the game? No, you can actually play the game, because for example, now in this game we have the classes, and there are classes that are gonna be more free to play than others. For example, right now I am playing Necromancer. Necromancer is actually one of the classes that it is pretty good for you to actually if you want to start, you want to do very well, because you got the minions and you got like all the, it's just like if you never played Necromancer in any game, well, let me tell you, you're gonna enjoy very much. But also I'm gonna recommend you, sorry for the flashbang, other classes that you're gonna do very well. Tempest, for me, especially if you're starting the game, it has like very high damage. You're gonna just crush everything. Tempest is super strong. You have also Crusader. It is really fast because it is gonna have get on the horse. And of course, in my opinion, Barbarian at the end game, when it comes like to PvP content, it is the free-to-play master class that I feel like you know, like, because you have Undying Rage and this like this ability that for a few seconds, even if you take damage, you're not gonna die, which is gonna make you very powerful. Wizard is also very good at free to play at the end game, because warrior and mages usually in all these classes tend to be classes that, you know, they have like these long-term scaling. Another one can also recommend is like Blood Knight. It was my first class. It is very easy because you're gonna do damage, you're gonna heal yourself, you're gonna be tanky, you're gonna have dashes, so it is a very fun class. Right now isn't on a greatest spot. Demon Hunter, it is the one that it gives like the highest damage, is a single target in PvP. It is pretty iffy, especially if you're not a whale. Monk, it is also really fun, but to be honest, you know, unless you have like at the end game and you have like all these mid-max gear, you're probably not gonna do as well. So stay with the basics. Barb, Wizard, or Tempest, probably gonna be the best choices, and also of course Necromancer and Crusader. So going now into the cosmetics. Are the cosmetics free to play? Well, the honest truth, it's not. No, they are not. The best cosmetics in the game, like pretty much any mobile game, they will be pay to win. This one, it is the phantom market that exists in the game. This is around like 170 euros. Gladly, I am for Diablo partner, so I get it for free. But if you didn't and you didn't got it, you don't have to get it. This is just pretty much like, if you enjoy the game and if you want to support it and you want to look cool, well, that's pretty much how it is. Then we have here a few more cosmetics that are going to be slightly more accessible for you to get, of course. Like, I feel like this pretty much like what? This like 45 euros. I don't tend to get very involved in this. This is 15 euros. So you got a bunch of them to buy, but let's talk. How are the skins for free to play? Well, the skins for free to play, you can actually go here on your Indez Trader NPC, and you got something that's called Transmogrify. You have 3 skins that you can apply. They are basically like okay, gonna look okay. That's the best way I can describe, is that you're gonna look okay with them. It's not like you're not gonna look like a super cool guy, but you know. So one thing that is important, it is that, for example, right now if you kill Diablo, you can get a new cosmetic for free. We also had this crossover event that we got like all these new cosmetics from the World of Warcraft. So if you pay attention and if you play the game regularly, you're gonna have once upon a time like an event that's gonna drop a cosmetic that's gonna be free to play, that you can also go and equip on your character. This part, it is pretty cool. So that's about it when it comes to cosmetics. You're not gonna look like pretty great if you're not gonna spend money, but if you're not like too invested on cosmetics like I do, it's not gonna be a huge problem. Then let's talk about PvE. Well, PvE, it is all about this metric, which is the combat rating that you have in the game. This dictates everything that it has to do with the difficulties. So this game starts at normal difficulty, goes through hell 1 to 3, then Infernal 1 to now 6. Right now we are at the Infernal 4. In the future we're gonna progress and keep progressing, and then probably it's gonna be like a difficulty squish or just keep either way. This is how it works, and each difficulty, it has a combat rating block. You see here, this is like 12,000. So once you reach here and you have defeated here on the raids the last boss, you're gonna be able to unlock the next one. So you don't need to have the combat rating to go to the next difficulty, but if I want to go to the difficulty 5, I will need to beat up the last boss on the Eliquity raids from the difficulty 4. It is the same for L1 to L2. That's how you progress on the game. To go to L2, you need to kill Fang. Then you have to go to L3, you need to kill Cyrodiil. So you kill all these guys, and then once you go and you exchange the difficulty, for example here, the map will still be the same. It's just gonna be harder and adjusted to the difficulty that you're playing. So what do you get on the newest difficulty? So whenever you change, you're gonna see here that you're gonna have access to the new Eliquity bosses. You're gonna have new set items. You're also gonna unlock, like for example in Infernal 1, you unlock all these slots here on your character. So you unlock like these bracelets, and also you unlock one more main hand and one more offhand, and you keep unlocking this gear that it is gonna be exclusive. What they are calling about exclusive, they are talking about like this instance that every difficulty that we have new instances added to the game. Instances are what we call like powers, that if you see here, these are the new helmet, this is like the new shoulders. Every slot has a new one. So until now I only got 2 of the new instances. I still missing 4. The way you do this is like, if you see here, if you read, it drops from Infernal 4 or higher. So it means like the only way for me to get these instances, I will need to go to this Infernal 4 difficulty and just keep farming. So it's gonna be very grindy when it comes to collect these powers, but it is this old system free to play. Yes, it is completely free to play, because as I said, like the Seeker's Path now is gonna be and make your life much easier, because you also have liquidity is gonna give you and boost your combat rating. And even though the legendary gems, they are gonna give you a bit of combat rating, let me tell you that even if I removed all my legendary gems, I will still be able to meet the requirements of the combat rating. I also got like a very in-depth guide when it comes to how to increase your combat rating as fast as I can. I'm gonna put on the comments. So this PvE, it is pretty friendly. You're gonna do pretty much everything that you have to do on the game. You're gonna do the raids. You're gonna do what we call now the dungeons, but not the dungeons. Now the dungeons actually got a new difficulty, which are the challenge one. If you see the requirement of the combat rating, it is still the same, but the difficulty, it is way higher. But you are still gonna be able to go and defeat it. You might just take a bit more time, but as long as you sometimes tag with the decent people, you want to be able to clear it in a breeze. Maybe you tag along what we call a whale or a pay-to-win player, and pretty much they're just gonna be able to carry you. So overall, this system, it is pretty free-to-play friendly. I will say it's just gonna take you a bit of time, but with a bit of grind, and as you keep progressing your ranks on your gear, this is the most important thing. Just level up your gear ranks whenever you're lacking all this combat rating, and you're gonna do fine. So let's now dive into the PvP. Well, the PvP, it is the side of the game that is completely pay to win, okay? But now, does it mean that you are not gonna be able to do good things in PvP? Well, that's not really true. Like, if you see here, right now I'm rank 3. I'm not been putting as much effort into the PvP as I used to in the past, because I just realized that free to play will take you so far. And I have reached to a point that I have pretty much kind of capped the maximum I can progress, like with my combat rating and with my secondaries, and with everything that I can do with one character. I do very well. I try to min-max everything. But if I want to keep progressing in the game to become even more competitive, I only have two choices. Or I start spending money in the game and I start pulling for more resonance, or I also can buy platinum inside the shop and I can start getting like more secondary stats. Or there is a third choice. I quit my job, I make 16 alts, and I keep like grinding the whole day for this game, and then I sell like these items on the other accounts for platinum. Then I funnel everything to my main, so I become strong. So I don't want to do that. So I will still want to, you know, be able to enjoy the game, and I only do things that are fun for me inside the game. So what I'm telling you is, like, as a free-to-play, you have a spectrum of like casual free-to-play, and like you have hardcore, and then you have like extremely hardcore. I will say I'm in like in the hardcore min-maxer. Like everything that I can min-max with one character, I do, and that's what my guides are specialized on. But then if you want to be like extremely hardcore, playing this game like 24/7 and having multiple accounts and characters, you can also do that. But personally, again, I don't recommend to do that. It's just not enjoyable for me, but that's where I'm at inside the game. So PvP, it is not free to play at all, but if you can do well as a free to play, still, if you know how to play, if you have your things min-max, if you're using a good build, yes. Another important thing that I want to say is, like, if you're gonna watch a lot of videos when it comes like to these PvP builds, just understand like a few PvP builds, they are mainly for whales. If you are low spender or free to play, there is no way you're gonna be able to play with them, because again, you won't have the enough life or damage or the secondary stats or the resonance required for you to actually survive in the game. You always need to go at a high tier legend. That's what we're talking about. At a high tier legend above like 360, you will actually be able to play with a bit more passive support build, because your damage compared to a whale was just gonna be like probably like 10% of the whale's damage, right? So at that stage, at a high tier legend, as a free to play, the only thing you can do is support the whale on your team, so maybe you're gonna win. Otherwise, if you just try to go as a kamikaze superhero, try to carry the game, you're just gonna get clapped, and that's pretty much about it. But if it makes it like it's not fun to play PvP in this game, no. Actually, it is pretty fun. However, let's talk about here guild content. Guild content, it is the one that it is even more pay to win than the PvP. So the PvP, I was talking mainly about like battlegrounds. because whenever you go into battlegrounds, your stats get squished. There's a lot of adjustments to make the battlegrounds slightly a bit more fair. But if you're talking about guild versus guild, there is no stat squish, there is nothing like that. It is literally what you get is like what you go inside the vaults or inside like this guild versus guild. You're gonna be as strong 100% of your power, but also the other player. So when it comes to guild versus guild, that content, it is very, very hard for the free-to-play to do almost anything unless you are in a good guild like I am right now, where we have like a lot of strong whales. Pretty much right now I'm there to just like support, to make the number. I try to, you know, with my PvP skill to be useful for the guild, but at the end of the day, it is gonna be the whales that gonna dominate and dictate what is gonna be the destiny of this guild, because, you know, I cannot have like a lot of impact, unfortunately. And then we have, for last but not least, let's talk about the familiar system. This is another one that it is free to play in a way that you get like these contracts. Like I have like 100 contracts. I'm just like waiting for like the new pet. So I have like all these contracts, and it is free to play to the point that you only need to actually get 2 pets. You need to have one with Savior, which is like a shit dead for the PvP, and you need to have another one that is gonna have these lingering wounds. So the lingering wounds, you can actually get them very, very easily. The Savior one, or you're extremely lucky to get it and roll one of these with the conversion, or you just go and you try to buy it on the action house. So until this point that I said, well, this is pretty free to play. It is attainable. You're gonna have it in a couple of months of playing. However, whenever you get to a point that you want to min-max this system to have like crazy legendary pets with like crazy traits, let me show you. For example, here you have this main which gives you 1% critical hit chance, but if you have the legendary one and you multiple stack it, you can have up to, I think, like 8% right now critical hit strike, which is insane. Also, you can have for example skill damage. You can also stack damage to players. There is a lot of like these legendary traits that they just gonna make your character even more powerful. So all this system that now I'm talking, this is pay to win. It is gonna be very, very hard for you that just started the game to even go in the future to get one of it. But if do you need it to play the game? No, you don't need it to play the game. So just do as you want. Just get the Salvager trait, get the Savior, and get the lingering wounds, and you're pretty much done with the game. So the whole spectrum. How good is this game for the free to play? I will say that this game, when it comes to free to play, it is probably it is like a 7 out of 10. I think it is it is a game that is gonna be very easy for you to progress in PvE. When it comes to PvP, well, you're gonna have a rough time, especially in the beginning. If you don't have your character build, you're gonna have to actually go and try to min-max as much as you can. If it is enjoyable to play as a free-to-play, 100%. I've been enjoying myself. You have ups and downs when it comes to the patches, but overall, like I will say, like my experience, it is pretty positive. With all my guys, I try to go and try to help people to, you know, spend less time on the game, get the max rewards, and, you know, and just enjoy the game. Because if you're not enjoying the game, if you don't enjoy the game, just go play something else. There are like thousands of games on the App Store or on Steam, so there is no reason for you to play a game nowadays that you don't enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed. These are my free-to-play breakdown of like what is actually fair and you actually can expect from the free-to-play side, or what you can expect from the pay-to-win side. I think you guys will still have some fun playing the game, but if you don't, well, it is what it is. So with this, I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to put in the comments, geez, put the timestamp, and always remember, you guys are the legends that keep getting this channel to the roof. So with this, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Peace.